The Edo State House of Assembly has directed the State Chief Judge to set up a 7-man panel to investigate the allegations leveled against the State Deputy Governor Philip Shaibu. The State Assembly is accusing the Deputy Governor of gross misconduct and allegedly divulging government information to the public. Well, the panel is expected to carry out a thorough investigation into the allegations and make necessary recommendations. Speaker of the House, Blessing Agbebaku, says that since the 7 days given to the Deputy Governor has elapsed, the House relied on its constitutional powers to set up the panel to investigate the matter.
Voted overwhelmingly that the matter be investigated. And meanwhile, Section 188 sub 4 requires a 2/3 majority for the matter to be sent for investigation. But we had 19 members voting. That is about 3 people above the 16 persons required. I also want to put on record that 3 of our members are unavoidably absent as they have official functions in Abuja. So they were unable to partake in these proceedings. By virtue of the provision of the Constitution, Section 188 sub 6 thereof, this panel of 7 have 3 months maximum to do their report. But because of the way this matter is a straight bracketed matter, a matter that even the Deputy Governor have thrown in the doorway because he knew that those allegations are unimpeachable. So as a result of that, he has not even said any response to that.
Well, lawyer and Arise analyst Frank Tietie joins us now to make sense of what's happening. You know, first, we must establish that there's a difference between an impeachment and removal, right? Mm-hmm. But it doesn't look very right when we discuss this in Nigeria. First, an impeachment in Nigeria looks like it's synonymous to removal.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, because when you look at the 2 jurisdictions of the United States, when we copied this constitution from, really, impeachment means an indictment, but it doesn't amount to removal. Unlike Donald Trump, that was impeached twice, but was not removed as president. But in Nigeria, once you are said to be impeached, the connotation is that you're out of office. And it takes a fairly long process that assures of fair hearing of justice given to the accused person, whether the governor or the deputy governor, to defend himself, to the point that it involves several parties that could actually serve as a reprieve to the accused person, to the person that is being alleged, either the governor or in this case the deputy governor, to actually be freed. In this case, the chief judge and then the panel of 7 members, persons of eminent character and integrity. So these persons are able to save anybody, any office holder, either the governor or the deputy governor, who has been alleged to have committed any form of gross misconduct. Gross misconduct in this case is not only defined as any violation of the provisions of the Constitution, but anything that the House of Assembly considers as gross misconduct. In the case of Sunday, in the case of Sunday Oyebuchi of Enugu State as deputy governor, who was not given any job to do. He felt so idle, and then he started rearing chickens in the government house. And then the same House of Assembly said, how dare you rear chickens? You turn government house into a poultry. And then he was impeached. Or you talk about Jude Agbaso or Eze Madam Mary, both deputy governors in Imo State under the respected Senator Rochas Okorocha, who were also, impeached. The idea is that in Nigeria, once you are made a deputy governor, you have actually enrolled into the school of loyalty, where you have to demonstrate your loyalty every single day, and you better pass, because it's a very difficult test. You are tested every day. Well, in the case of Philip Shaibu, his scene was that when commissioners were being inaugurated, when Governor Obaseki was inaugurating commissioners, he was in Abuja laughing and with now Senator Adams Oshomole. And that was considered a political sin that was not meant to be forgiven. So, with all the rigmarole, Governor Obaseki was taking his time. was taking this time because this impeachment has been long time coming. But let me tell you, the strategic nature, the strategic timing is that Philip Shaibu cannot, in any way run to any political party because the primaries have been conducted in APC or Labour Party. So if he had begun any form of expression of a data or vindictiveness against Philip Shaibu, as he has always positioned himself to be. So Philip Shaibu would have been a bit would have made his influence more meaningful if he had moved to the Labour Party, which he cannot do now, or moved to the APC. So Godwin Obaseki is not as much of a political neophyte as the people thought, but he's a very smart strategist.
Okay, so you take your principle for granted at your own peril.
Yes,
right?
Despite the fact that Philip Shaibu had exercised some, initial, initial ability to resist, but he went begging again, and then that was not a good sign for those persons who would have supported him because they thought that was a kind of desperation.
So now the trial judge James Omotosho declined the deputy governor's prayers, and one would wonder what's the hurry in impeaching or removing this deputy governor. The election is right around the corner. Remember? What exactly is playing out?
First is to humiliate Philip Shaibu, and then again to punish him. He was, they say in Nigeria's political lexicon and understanding that such kind of political sins cannot be forgiven. The governor had, I wonder why Philip Shaibu didn't see this coming. And I think he had better be smart now to take the advice that he possibly should resign and retain the perks of his office and not be humiliated out of office. Because if you look at the posture of the State House of Assembly, it's overwhelming. When you look at 21 out of 24 members of the House of Assembly signing the petition that he should be removed. That means it's going to be very difficult. So his only salvation lies in whether or not the panel finds the allegations against him proved or not proved. They don't need to make any recommendations. They just need to answer a question, yes or no. Are the allegations against him proved, yes or no? Once that is done, he knows that he cannot survive. But he needs not wait till that time. Because that's a gamble, a big gamble. If he waits till that time, this House of Assembly will not receive any letter of resignation from him. They will ensure that, I hope not, but they will ensure, with this kind of posture, body language, they will ensure that it is impeached, and then he's now chased away from the State House without any benefit whatsoever, despite the fact that he has contributed immensely to the emergence and success of Governor Godwin Obaseki.
Well, they say it takes two to tango. That's on the Phillips book of politics that he contributed immensely. But again, some will say it's a two-party affair. But let's talk about the soft landing you painted earlier. You said it's best for him to hold his head high by resigning. And what do you mean by the peck of office?
There's a whole lot.
How bad is it for someone to have the toga of an impeached deputy
It's very
governor?
bad. First, for example, that will almost end his political career for life. Have you ever heard of any of those deputy governors that were impeached that ever got back to political life? Philip Shaibu had a very bright political, career. I mean, with the support of Adams Oshomole, and then with the understanding, a secret unwritten understanding that he, as deputy governor to Godwin Obaseki, he was going to inherit the governorship of Edo State. And then things began to turn differently. He couldn't just believe his eyes, the way things were turning so quickly. And he didn't even know at a point in time. He was confused as to whatever he had done wrong. He was on national television pleading like a child, begging the governor for forgiveness. He was there appearing so helpless when he was locked out of his office. He saw he should have realized that his political life was in danger. Now that this has come, he should have just been consistent. In this case, I doubt if the players in the Edo State would want to, because in politics, it is the person who wields power today that actually carries the day. Tomorrow, Obaseki may be vilified, but at the moment, all the members of the House of Assembly are postured to support Obaseki. In fact, they could have actually created an allegation that he was disturbing the governor, making the governor unable to govern the Edo State with peace. Anything can actually be in their mind. And this is constitutional. The Constitution grants them the power under Section 188 that they can imagine any offense against any of the office holders, either the governor or the deputy governor. So the State House is actually very powerful in this regard.
And
he didn't patronize them. He couldn't have patronized them. After all, he didn't have resources.
Let's stress further. This alleged gross misconduct, I mean, allegedly divulging government information to the public. What exactly is that? In
Nigeria, government, services and operations are not very much secret, especially at the subnational level. If we were talking about national security issues and we're dealing with terrorism and all that, one would understand. You can actually able to get much of government information, more 90% or more, through the application of the Freedom of Information request, even though that's a federal law. But it now, like I said, Section 188 clearly says that if it is, even though the allegations also extend to perjury, that he lied under oath, that is, he had held the Bible and sworn, and then at the same time went ahead to tell a lie. Now, these are things that the panel will consider. The panel will consider whether or not he has lied. But as to divulging government secrets, it now depends on the motive of divulging such secrets, whether it was with malicious intent and whether it actually caused any form of damage to the person of the governor or to the government of Edo State. Whatever it is for the panel to simply answer the question. Are the allegations proved? So one person will go there, the government, or rather the House State House Assembly will send his lawyers there to actually prosecute Deputy Governor Philip Shaibu. While Philip Shaibu will go there as his own lawyer or possibly hire one senior advocate to defend himself.
Do we need to start thinking of immunity for the deputy governor?
He does have immunity.
He does. So how come?
He does. No, in this case, you see, the interesting thing is that Section 188 gives the State House of Assembly the powers. In fact, some these issues are political questions. Right. Expectedly, the court is not supposed to inquire into them. The decisions that of the panel with regards to these allegations, the court cannot inquire into it. The decision of the State House of Assembly with regards to the outcome of its voting concerning the allegations against Philip Shaibu, the court cannot inquire into it. However, the fact the immunity stays, he cannot be prosecuted as a suspect, a criminal suspect, but he is more or less entitled to a lawyer to defend him as if he's been charged for an offense, a criminal offense.
And in 30 seconds, is this end of the road?
Yes. In fact, in my news analysis of impeachment proceedings against deputy governors, I've always liked Shaibu until he started backtracking unnecessarily without a basis. Because of my love for him, I will advise him to simply honorably take a bow and resign, and then with a very strong political statement, and then possibly he can get a comeback. Well, if not, this is likely the end of the road for him.
There should be lessons,
considering the way politics is played in Edo State.
Exactly, and there should be lessons to be learned.
Well, I think we'll have that conversation backstage.
Yeah, of course.
Later.
Our days in the University of Benin were able to sufficiently help us to understand the politics in Edo State.
If anyone comes to you and says, "Look, I'd like you to be my running mate," you might need to think again.
Think, of course, yes, because it is not dangerous for you. It's for you to serve as a running mate. It's as if you are setting a trap for yourself. You have just gone to enroll in a school of where you will be tested every day of your life, whether you are a loyal person. Can you imagine political loyalty in Nigeria becomes a problem for you?
We'll have that conversation over tea.
Yes.